Hey.
What?
What have you been eating in the garden?
Peas.
You want to show everybody?
Yeah. There was pieces there. Got one. And the other one. And the other one. I got 3.
Good job.
Would you guys want one if you would come to our house?
Benjamin is with peas the way I am with tomatoes. So since the pea plants have been producing, he has been out here every single day enjoying himself some fresh garden snacks.
They're like the Ezekiel.
Are you a helper?
Yeah.
You just have to make sure that you're overlapping past
Why?
the end of the tails. Yes. You're more than good? Oh yeah. Okay. Right there. I had some 16s, I had some 14s. I don't know.
It is a beautiful day. We had a couple of cool days, but it's back
Mother's
to...
Day.
It's Mother's Day, that's right. It's been a good day, huh?
Can I say Happy Mother's Day to them?
Yeah, you can say Happy Mother's Day to them.
Happy Mother's Day.
Maya and his brother and his dad and Ben, who has been helping us out on the farm and who has now been affectionately dubbed Ben Turn. They're all working on the pavilion in the middle of the garden. Josh is here, and that's Maya's brother, and he has a construction company, and so a lot of times when there are...
I'm Ben.
Yes, you're also Ben. A lot of times when there are projects that are kind of beyond Jeremiah's capacity, Josh will come out and help him and show him what to do. And so Ben Turn is here as well, learning how to build the kind of complicated roof that they decided to put on this pavilion. You want to lead the way to the back where Daddy's been working?
But the baby's too fat.
Hey ladies. Normally we have more chickens than we do right now. We're down to like 12. And we're gonna get some more, but it's weird that this yard is growing up with the chickens living in it. That's never happened before, because usually we have enough chickens to keep that from happening. Found a cell phone?
Yeah. I got the spear.
Yeah. Fruity Mama is still sitting. We are down to getting between 5 and 8 eggs a day these days. Broody Mama does have a couple of eggs underneath her that are developing, and I kind of started to look out to see if I could find any like day-old chicks that I could put underneath her, but all the feed stores at this point, their chicks are much older than that. Nobody's getting new ones. And so at this point, I'm just letting her hatch out the eggs that she has. Josh had this entire dump trailer of scrap lumber left over from jobs, so he brought it out here and dumped it for us. Because we are basically material scavengers, and we are not ashamed of that at all. So I look at this and see a tremendous amount of possibility for all kinds of projects around the homestead. Yeah, that's an exciting thing to get right there. Benjamin told me if he were in the rodeo, he would ride Jeff so he could hang on to his horns. Did you give him a kiss?
It smells like milk.
He smells like milk.
All the goats smell like milk.
Yeah. Come on, you want to come to the back with me?
Yeah. Can I go at the back and with this guy?
With Jeff?
Yeah.
If he'll follow you, you can take him back there. Hey, ladies. Hey, Fanny. Hey, Clem. So this has been the most happening thing on the farm this weekend. I mentioned last week about how Maya had borrowed Josh's excavator, and so that has been Jeremiah's main focus, to get as much use out of that as possible while we've got access to it. Look at that tree. It's my favorite tree on our property. Everything you see us doing on our farm, aside from the horses, which are on a lease next door, is on about 2.5 acres, and we have 4.5 on our property, and then we have 3 acres with the house next door. So right now we're kind of expanding out of that 2.5 acres, and we're going to be using the property next door as well as this back and, you know, the other 2 acres of our property that we've never used before. Since we've been here, this has always been overgrown. in fact, like today, whenever I walked back here and Jeremiah had all of this clear, I wasn't even really sure how far back it went. I didn't have a good grasp of that because it's always been so overgrown that I kind of knew in theory that this bit of land, this yard, was about 120 feet deep, but I didn't really have in my mind how big that was. So I am really thrilled to see this. This is a big step in the direction of what we're envisioning for our farm. This space back here that's currently being cleared is actually where our pigs will be. And then we're clearing out that whole part of the woods up next to the garden. We're gonna leave like the big awesome trees, but clear out all of the small ones and all of the brush to open that up to light so that we can seed it and grow some pasture there. And the field next door, actually, let's just go take a look at that. This field, which is obviously very overgrown right now and full of trees, this will also be cleared for us to use. So our new animal will have about 4.5 acres total, split up between a couple of pastures. And we actually have nailed down with the people that we are getting our new animals from that is going to happen mid-June. So it's going to be a long road trip and a big undertaking to get them here, but it's going to be worth it. What's up, girl? Are you ready for the spotlight? What would you like to say to our friends? My mom just got here. Let's go up there. Here, I got you this, Mom.
Oh, awesome. Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you.
Hens and chicks. That's a good Mother's Day plant, right?
It's beautiful. Look at this, new little life coming off too.
This was my bargain find of the day. These broken containers full of succulents were marked down to $5 each, which the plants themselves were worth that, I thought. So I've been saying I wanted to get into succulents. Now I have plenty. I thought that was a pretty good buy. Now I've just got to repot them. I'm going to try propagating some of these leaves that fell off. Ready for your close-up? YouTube, our friends, this is Ben Turn. Who's been a huge blessing to us. We're so thankful that he's here.
Thank you.
Yes, and little Ben says this is his friend Ben. And
the B team.
The B team.
Ben team.
The Ben team. That's right. High five.
Hey, high five.
Ben is a local college student and has been just a massive help. We met him through YouTube and then locally, and got together with him a couple times, had him out to the house, and he has been hugely beneficial. It was weird for me at first because I was afraid that I wouldn't have anything to teach him, which I know all of you guys, you know, the thousands of you that watch our YouTube channel because you want to learn. And I was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to teach somebody? And then the first day that he came over to help, one of the goats had gone into labor, and she'd had her kids while we were gone. And so actually, as soon as he got here, we went through the process of like taking care of the kids and just all of the procedure things that we do after a mom kids with deworming and all of that. And he was like, this is exactly what I wanted to be able to learn. And so today he helped the guys build the pavilion and got some construction experience in. Oh, I have to show y'all something. Look. Look at that beautiful thing. Jeremiah did end up finding one. And they actually built the roof of the pavilion. If you see that box there, they built it to be able to have a weather vane. While they worked on this, I actually got a lot more planted today. A lot of weeding done and quite a bit more planted. More green beans, more melons, more peppers. I got my potato bags out and I'm about to get those planted. It's really been a slower process this year because in the past I've had people here that helped me. I had Maya's mom and Daniel lived here last year, and we did the garden, mostly the three of us together. But this year I've had friends come by and help here and there, but this has been more mine this year than I think it ever has before. And it's good. It's been a little slower but it's good. I've also been making sure that I fill all the cracks, and actually my friend Xavier was suggesting that I fit onions in. She was talking about how onions can really like go in the nooks and crannies, and then multiple people echoed that, saying, yeah, you know, I just go plug onions in all of the extra spaces. So I'm gonna let everything get in, and then I think I'm gonna go ahead and sow some onions around the things that they'll do well around. This stage of the garden, where it is right now, with most everything sown, young plants coming up, you know, little squatty tomatoes that don't even reach up to the trellis, and all of these trellises bare, it feels like it will never be full. There's this huge temptation to come in and just like overplant, to go buy mature plants, you know, plants at the store, because you go and you see all those big plants that already have fruit on them. I always go through this, and it's funny because today I was just like, man, am I so behind? Which you frigid northerners are like rolling your eyes, but I really do. I'll look through here and be like, am I just so behind? Is this gonna do well? Is this gonna fill out? Is it gonna look like it's supposed to? I've actually been going back and watching my own garden tours from last year to be like, it really will. It really is gonna fill out. Just in like a matter of about 3 weeks, this space will be almost unrecognizable. For real. Just wait and see. But as of right now, we're just getting everything put in. My little young garden. Some things are big. The lettuce and kale is big. My rebel squash plant is big. Hey, Gabe. Hey, handsome boy.
So cute.
He's so cute.
And sweet.
Yeah, he's a sweet boy. Yes, he is. My mom planted my front garden bed for me. This right by the house. So a little bit of shift in pace here. I'm gonna sit here at the table and tell you guys about something that happened, because I know you guys are gonna ask about the button quail, and we had this honestly crazy freak thing happen the other night, but kind of public service announcement style. I feel like you guys need to know, one, because we update you on what happens on our farm, but two, just to add caution in your own home. So we don't typically use heat lamps, the lights that you get to put on like brooding birds. We don't typically use those because I've heard so many horror stories about fires being started, barns burning down, them overheating animals. I mean, just in the past, we've always used these Premier One heat plates for brooding our birds, and we have for like 4 years now. We haven't used heat lamps. However, we had bought a heat lamp a few months ago when it was still really cold outside, because we had baby goats that were born on like a freezing night, and we got a heat lamp put out in the barn, and that's why we even owned one. Before that, we didn't even own them. And the button quail hatched. We ended up with several little button quail that I got from Fat Hen Farms. Super cute, super excited about these tiny eggs. And I was concerned because the heat plate only goes down so far, and it only goes down to like this far. And these button quail were teeny tiny, and I was concerned that the heat plate would not keep them warm enough. Now, in retrospect, had I known what was gonna happen, I would have just built the bedding up underneath it so that they could get to the heat plate. But at the time, I thought, well, we'll just put a heat lamp on them. That way we can be sure that they're warm enough. And that night, this is a couple nights ago that this happened, I'd already fallen asleep, and Maya, Benjamin had gotten up. So he was up kind of late, and Maya went to lay down with Ben in his bed. And he began to smell something that smelled like electrical burning through the vent. And so Jeremiah ran downstairs, and that heat lamp had exploded, and the box was like smoldering, and it killed the quail. And obviously that's very sad. I'm very sad that the quail died. However, I'm very, very relieved and thankful that Maya was not asleep, and that, our house didn't burn down. That is a huge thing. I'll never use a heat lamp again. Like, it had exploded and caught fire to this box. Like, that is crazy. I really wanted to share with you guys to make sure that if you are choosing to use heat lamps, it is with extreme caution and awareness, and like, I really suggest that you do not use those in your home, especially to have them on while you're sleeping or while you're not at home. And the thing is with brooding, I mean, if you've got a heat lamp on, it's got to be on usually during those times too. So definitely be aware of that. We get our heat plates through Premier One or Amazon. Like, we've had the same ones for like 4 years. I will link the ones that we use if that's something that you want to switch to, but I really just felt responsible to share with you guys. Definitely be aware. And yeah, sad, but also really thankful that that didn't turn out worse than it did. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but you know, that's kind of a big bummer about the quail. But I'm sure, like you guys, you feel the relief that that didn't turn out to be a much sadder story. Anyway, thank y'all for hanging out. God bless you. Until next time.